What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirts, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, this is a team that believed in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons as the future. They lost so many games to have a chance to get a franchise player the last couple years. They have been able to draft multiple players throughout this journey for years. Joel Embiid was not the #1 overall pick, but he was supposed to be a #1 pick if it wasn't because of the injury scares that he had. His potential was through the roof. A big man that can post up, that can anchor your defense, rebound the basketball, and hit jumpers outside as he became into the NBA. And Ben Simmons was the projected #1 pick since high school. He was the #1 pick in college, even though they did not make the NCAA tournament, and he ended up becoming the #1 pick for the Philadelphia 76ers. He became the Rookie of the Year, but he also became an All-Star this season, and so was Joel Embiid, making them an All-Star duo in the NBA. They have a lot of confidence. They have a lot of swagger about how they play and approach the game. Last year, they was on pace to finish as a below top 5 seed. They go on a winning streak at the end of the year with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid out, and they ended up bumping themselves up to home court advantage in the first round, and they ended up winning 50 games. They surprised a lot of people because they was mediocre at best last year, and then they ended up hitting a stride to close out the season on a high note. They had a lot of hype last year because of how they closed the season and the fact that they was getting Joel Embiid back against Boston at the end of the series, and obviously a little bit against Miami, even though they did beat themselves last year, turning the ball over, not executing, being sloppy. They had games where they should have beat Boston, but Boston played hard, had the heart of a champion, and kept playing strong the whole game, and they was able to execute, get quality shots, and they trusted their defense. And Philly, they ended up destroying themselves. That series is a series that they should have won, but instead they ended up losing quicker than what people thought, and easily losing. They didn't even go 6 games, and people thought that they would win that series. Even me as a Celtics fan, I thought that they was going to win the series too, and the opportunities was there for them to win. They just couldn't. They collapsed under the pressure of the playoffs. They're coming into this year as a team that people know. People expect them to be good, and people expect them to be one of the best teams in the East. Coming off what they did last year, and the fact that they have new talent, and on top of that, they have grown more. And then as the season goes on, they make a trade for Jimmy Rickety Tickety Butler, which put them over the top. People felt like they was definitely contenders. It puts them up there with the Bucks. It puts them up there with the Raptors, and it puts them up there with the Celtics. Getting a player like Jimmy Butler, but they didn't stop there. They ended up making a trade for Tobias Harris to come down there and give them that power forward of the modern day. A guy that's actually a small forward that can play the 4 because he has the size and a rebounding ability, but he also can stretch out the floor, put the ball on the ground and get to the paint. But also he's an excellent shooter from mid-range and 3, something that he improved on throughout his career. But he also is a solid post-up player too, being able to shoot and run past most power forwards and smaller guards when they switch. And he gave them something that they didn't have, which is a consistent, diverse, skilled, versatile forward at that position, since J.J. Redick would be the shooting guard and Jimmy Butler would be the small forward. They didn't stop there, though, making a trade for Jonathan Simmons and actually making a trade to pick up James Ennis. And that gave them wing depth at that small forward and shooting guard spot. Plus, they still had solid veterans like Kork Maz and other guys that can come in and contribute, even like T.J. McConnell, who has been a fixture at that point guard position. And they have at least 7 to 9 players that they can play in rotation. Even Boban was another acquisition that was a part of that Tobias Harris trade, giving them center depth, something that they lacked. Um, After all these trades, and they was able to get them a legitimate center that can rebound, protect the paint to a certain extent, and score highly efficient in that basket. I mean, around the basket. So they have the makings of a great team. They have two All-Star caliber players. You can make an argument that Jimmy Butler and also Tobias Harris are All-Star caliber players because they both was averaging around 20 points before they got traded to Philly. Obviously, they're going to have to sacrifice to play with two other All Stars and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, especially because they're coming to this team. They have to fit in. They have to find ways to make things work, considering that they want to win. And if you have this much talent, your goal should be championship or bust. And I feel like that's how we all look at the Sixers at this point. Once you make a move for Tobias, Jimmy Butler, Boban, Jonathan Simmons, and James Ennis, this is a team that people feel like can win it all. Even though people still feel like the Warriors will win it, this team is not that far of a talent drop off compared to the Warriors. Yeah, they don't have the superstar players like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, but they have a good collection of players that, given the right system, given the right schemes defensively and the right schemes offensively, finding ways to keep the ball moving, finding ways to get their guys in good matchups and good spots, and knowing when to use different type of lineups and different type of X's and O's to get them easy opportunities. And the fact that they're a year older and Jimmy Butler has playoff experience, and also Tobias has new blood in the playoffs. He's going to want to go out there and prove himself and show that he can play at this level. Even though he did make the playoffs with Detroit, he wasn't the player that he is now, and he has more expectations on this team. And we will see how they rise or fall depending on this, because everybody feels like this Sixers team is a championship team. And when you look at the numbers, even for the regular season, I'm not gonna go all stat happy like a lot of people, but the main ones that matter is they are scoring 115 points in the NBA. That's fourth in the NBA. They're fourth in rebounding with 47.6 a game, and they move the ball enough with Ben Simmons being the main distributor. They're getting 27 assists a game, which is fourth. Their defense, 112. They're 17th in points allowed. A lot of teams are scoring a lot of baskets on them. A lot of teams are getting the shots that they want against this Philly team. But to me, it's just about, are they really ready? Are they really mature enough? They got a lot of young players in this starting lineup. They got a lot of players that didn't really have significant big playoff runs in the playoffs. They haven't really played against teams like Toronto and teams like the Bucks and probably even the Celtics, depending if they beat Indiana, which they should. But you never really know what happens by this season. Because last year we thought Kyrie was going to be in the playoffs, and he didn't even play one playoff game by the season ending. So we don't really know what's going to happen. But this team is going to definitely be favored to get out of the first round. But after that, when you look at all this talent, they should be the best team in the East. I understand that they didn't play that well in the beginning, becoming a decent team, but they didn't really go on a big stretch with this team being healthy. And another thing that's a concern is still Joel Embiid health. He still continues to miss a lot of games. He cannot really play 2 months straight at this point without being injured. And going into the playoffs, you want to be having your chemistry clicking. You want to be playing your best basketball. You want to be locked in, because the whole goal of the regular season is to get a good position so that way you can have a decent ride in the playoffs and get to the Eastern Conference Finals with a chance to get to the NBA Finals to win the championship. And this team leaves a lot to be desired. I still feel like they are not all on the same page. I feel like they still have another switch that they could get to, but the thing is, can they get to that next level? Can they really become a great defensive team? Even though they do have Butler, they do have a player like Ben Simmons who's a good defender. They do have a player like Joel Embiid, but they still haven't been able to contain smaller guards that's quick and can shoot the basketball. They still haven't really been able to find ways to execute. They rely a lot on isolation and pick and roll in the fourth quarter. Can they hit those shots in the fourth quarter? Can they trust Joel Embiid outside shooting in the fourth quarter? Can he knock down mid-range and threes consistently when they need to clog up the paint? Will he be able to knock down those shots? Will Jimmy Butler be aggressive, or will he be passive? Is he going to play his strengths, getting the mid-range jumpers, getting his space and pulling up and getting to the paint and finishing around that rim and being a playmaker? Jimmy Butler is a guy that you can get the ball to the hand. I mean, get the ball to him, and he can create shots consistently. And he's been more efficient the last couple of years when it comes to scoring, especially in isolation and pick and roll situations. Will he provide that? We done seen that he had a good series against the Bucks a couple years ago, and that was in the playoffs. Will he be able to bring that maturity and bring that winning mentality and play harder? Because I still don't feel like Jimmy Butler is an elite defender anymore. If you would have said that years ago, I would have jumped on it. He doesn't have as much responsibility because they don't really need him to dominate the ball offensively anymore because you do have other great players on this team. And you will think that Jimmy Butler will become back that elite defender that he was in Chicago because the fact that he doesn't have to do as much offensively because they don't need him to. And you would think that he'd become that great wing defender that can really cause havoc on that end while still giving you buckets on the other side of the court. Rather, if he's giving you 15 to 20 points, that should be enough with the type of talent that they have on this team. So they have all the pieces. They have the big man depth. They have the wing depth. They have decent guard play with Court Miles and TJ McConnell. And they also have an amazing starting lineup. Brett Brown has been questioned as a coach as when it comes to offense and making adjustments and making lineup changes. It's no excuse why this team can't get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They, to me, are a better team on paper than the Bucks, but they still have to go out there and play like that when it comes and they matter, and they haven't. And they haven't been able to stay healthy either, and that has been their Achilles heel is getting everybody in the starting lineup to play together and seeing what you really have, where you can grow from, where you can improve on. But the biggest problem with that is the fact that they don't have much time because the playoffs is over. I think they really need to take this first round series against whoever, whether it's Brooklyn, Detroit, or even Miami or Orlando or Charlotte. They really need to take that first round very serious and get them out of there quick, but show how dominant and show how great they can be. They need everybody to be on the same page defensively, and the ball needs to continue to move um, offensively. But also, what is Ben Simmons going to do? He's still struggling to score, but they've been giving him more post ups. They've been giving him more the ability to attack the switches. He's becoming more aggressive. He's looking for lanes. He's trying to finish around the rim a lot more. He's not passing up shots. He's not scared to score. I had a problem with him doing that the first couple years he's been in the NBA, but he has become more aggressive and he has been attacking a lot more. Maybe not shooting jumpers, but he's not just sitting there waiting to pass, kind of like what Rondo did in Boston. He's being more aggressive and trying to find his shot and trying to find shots he know he can make. Even though he still can't make a mid-range or a three, he's still finding ways to be effective. And depending on what lineup is out there, he still can run the offense and still can get you high-quality shots because they have the right floor spacing and they have the right type of matchups. Ben Simmons is not as much of a liability as we would think that he would be at this point. But they was able to win basically 50 games with him as a point guard the last 2 seasons. And they only one game away from winning that again. So they is going to get home court advantage in the first round, it looks like, because they're going to look like they're going to lock up that third seed. But that's what they need. They need to use these last couple games in a first round series as practice to really get their offense and their defense flowing and lock in so that way they can be prepared for a tough challenge in the second round, whether it's playing Boston or Indiana. That's going to be the thing that we're going to want to see. How are they going to face this type of team in these type of circumstances? Because when I look at this team, they can be a lot better than what I have seen. They don't scare me. They haven't over impressed me, and they haven't really made me seem like, okay, this team is the team to watch out for. This team is the team that can take over the East. I haven't really seen that this year. And for them to play Toronto or any team at the next round, I really think that they can struggle with teams that has wing defenders that can guard Jimmy Butler and Tobias one-on-one. And they're going to struggle with teams that can space out the floor and take Joel Embiid out of that paint. I see why Toronto made a trade for Marc Gasol. Obviously, they always struggle against Al Horford and the Celtics, even though he was able to fix that a little bit. The last time they played, we still have won the series majority in the playoffs and in the regular season. So one game doesn't change that, but it does give the Sixers confidence that they can beat the Celtics, which is important. But at the same time, when you look at history, we still have been able to get the best of them even in the playoffs. So they have a lot of question marks. Can they beat a team like Toronto? Can Jimmy Butler become back that elite defender that he used to be? Will they lock in? Will they try to go out there and prove a point in the first round? Will they try to come out there and beat Toronto and Milwaukee and try to get to the finals? Elton Brand made these trades because he feel like Joel Embiid can be a franchise player. He feel like Ben Simmons is a great point guard, and putting this type of talent around them so quickly allows you to think in his perspective. I feel like with these two players with the right pieces, we can win it all. And when you make these type of moves that they have made in this one season alone, it just shows you he has real high hopes and real belief in his Sixer team, and most importantly in his all-star duo. And they have the talent, they have the bench, enough I should say, on the bench, and they have really no excuses outside of injuries. If this team is healthy, it will be a disappointment if they do not win a championship, because they have everything you need to get to the finals. Like they talking about, the goal is to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. When you have a roster like this and you make the type of trades and the moves that you do, if you Elton Brand, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals is not the goal. The goal is to get to the finals and compete for the championship. And I feel like if they can stay healthy, they have the outside, they have the inside, they have the rebounding, they have an anchor, they have some decent perimeter defenders, and they have a good enough bench that can get them by most teams. They have no excuse not to get to the finals and at least have a contention for the championship. So let me know, did I miss something? Did I overrate something? If this is a team that people sleeping on, this is a team that's a dark horse, or this is the team that's the best in the East. Is they better than Toronto? Is they better than Bucks? Yeah, they have better talent on paper, but them teams play better together. Is that going to be the reason they lose, or is it going to be injuries? However you feel about the Sixers, let me know. I read every comment. Thanks for everybody that's buying t-shirts and merchandise and liking the videos and liking on Facebook. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description and the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that like on Facebook. Also, I make discussion videos just like this. I break down games. I break down tributes to the legends. I would do rookie analysis breakdowns. I also cover the summer league. I also do season previews. I also do top 5 discussions and also other fun videos. I try to cover all things all things NBA throughout the year. I try not to miss a day. I am the only person that produce and make content and ideas. Thank you for support. If you want to recommend a video, you want to see anything, you can let me know too. I do take video suggestions. Also, at the end of the day, I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching. That's why I continue to go. Thanks for the support. Thanks for buying merchandise. Thanks for checking the videos. Thanks for liking the videos. And I really do enjoy and appreciate it. Quentin Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the 76ers going into the playoffs.